Yeah, I'm humming it. All right, let's get serious. We got a world to fix. All right. Nothing happened.
You have reached Phonology Organic Living in Pethers Village. We apologize that we can't come to the phone at this moment. Please put your name and your number and a brief message. We'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you and have a good day.
Where are we at? The battery no longer can provide sufficient power. That stinks. All right, where are we at? Great, right? It's a false start. We still. That's offline. Testing. Oh, that says green. Green. Ow, green. Okay, looks like the broadcast is still going. I don't know how that works, but let's see if we can bring Facebook in. YouTube is already up and running. That's weird. That's what it says. All right. Power failure. Power failure because I didn't plug my laptop in. It says the battery can no longer provide sufficient power to your system. Alright. Gotta replace my battery. Yeah, this says I'm live. Look at that. YouTube. Okay. Alright, there we go. Let's just keep going. Boom, boom. Hey! It's my happy music. Good morning, Tamara. Good morning, Heaven. Make sure my mic is on. Getting good at this. I used to start talking before my mic was on. Okay, mic is on. Good morning, Debbie. Good morning from the UK. Top of the day to ya. Mighty? No, is that wrong? That's the wrong accent, isn't it? Early afternoon in the UK. Yes, it is. Good morning, Tina. Good morning, Debbie. It's already been a long day. Are you knackered? Are you knackered? I speak a little UK. I speak a little. Are you knackered? That means tired. Yes. Good morning, Maha. You didn't go to Facebook jail? You will, because you keep talking truthful things. You going to jail. You going to jail. That's the world we live in. Violence world. Steal people and throw them in cages. Popularly. Good morning, Mary and Christine. All right, let me share this out. I'm off saying hi to everybody. I'm supposed to be sharing this out to some pages here. Thank you for sharing, people. Good morning, good morning. We are going to talk. I was with Brother Josh, and somebody sent me down this avenue this morning. We were talking about gun control. Gun control. Dun, 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 dun. Gonna save things. No, you're not. They call it gun control because they don't want to control the violence. That's what I'm saying. Words are key. Words are key to everything. You actually call it violence control, and 99.99999% of the people on this planet will agree with them. But that's why they call it gun control, because they don't not want people agreeing. They need you fighting. They need you arguing, like Al Grits and his girlfriend. Did I say Al Grits? I said Al Grits. Damn it. Let me get the comments. I mean, Al Green and Woodson, which is a story most people actually don't know. They don't know the whole story. So hang on. Let me get there. There's a Facebook comment should work. Let me log in YouTube. And I'm gonna tell you how we got to this topic, having a discussion on the thread early this morning when I drank way too much coffee. I'm just gonna warn you now. You're one of those people like, oh, he's a little manic. He's just all over the place. I can't keep up with his head. Mind keep just going different places. This is a bad show for you to watch. But I appreciate you sharing, even if you can. We see, be the upgrade on YouTube. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Be the upgrade. This is an upgrade from gun control. We need to end the whole gun control debate. Let it go, because it started in Switzerland. I think that started talking about that this morning. Switzerland enacted more gun control. More poor people gun control. All right. So look, I think y'all should go ahead and invite your friends that are gun controllers. Actually, invite your friends that aren't either. I think this is going to be an interesting one. I'm curious what y'all think. I think they call it gun control because they don't want to control the violence. The violence is the problem, people. Focus on the violence, the violence, the violence, the violence. The violence is the issue, but the people behind gun control are violent people, which is why they call it gun control. They don't want to stop the violence. They're colonizers. They have a system and model in government based on financial violence, physical violence, throwing hot grits violence. Hot grits in your face. Ah! All right, there we go. I'm done. I know I'm trying to bring it down. I literally this is my third cup of coffee today. Oh my goodness. I need to slow down, process. Drink decaf? Hell no, Tamara, that's just not gonna happen. I need my brain working on different wavelengths, and the only way I can get there is just with coffee. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Christine. Thank you for sharing, brother Terry. All the dirty money in Switzerland. Right, exactly, Christine. All that dirty money in Switzerland. And also behind the gun control, behind the violence control. Take the weapons from the poor people, not the government. So I was thinking about it this morning. Because I think it was Brother Josh, somebody responded. We were talking about it on the thread. He said, the lady was out of her mind. It was an interview. I posted an interview. This lady was out of her mind. And they're trying to take assault weapons from the poor people. As usual. The poor people are the problem. The wealthy people, not a problem. The elites, not a problem. Rothschilds, Rockefellers, own nations. But the poor people, damn it, y'all can't have no swords. Nope, cannot have a sword, can't have a knife, dagger, and not no automatic sword. Oh Lord, Brother John is shh, I'll be quiet. Brother John out there like, gun control, this is my topic. My powder is dry. That's my revolutionary brother. But anyway, look. So went down a discussion thread and he said, gun control is not even a topic. Not even a topic. We're not even discuss disarming poor people. He said, except for suicide. And I thought about it. I thought, y'all know me, I'm pretty hardcore at gun control. My gun controllers, they don't even say nothing, They don't even say anything anymore because I bring up slavery. They're like, oh, yeah, that gun control. That wasn't really a good one. Yeah, no, it wasn't a good one, was it? Yeah, they took the spears and threw everybody into slavery. That kind of sucked for gun. All right. He said, except for suicide. I was thinking about it, and he's right. He is right. He's absolutely right. Suicidal people absolutely should not be able to harm themselves. I'm not going to touch the gun issue on that, but they should not be able to harm themselves. That's knives, guns, toothpicks, tanks, military industrial complexes. Oh, Well, I won't go there yet. But the point is that we have a lot of people who commit suicide who shouldn't be. And I'm a big proponent of euthanasia. I believe in euthanasia. If you're sick of this Rothschild, Rockefeller, manufactured artificial scarcity world, and you want to go out early, that's your choice. You're a sovereign creature. I don't get to tell you what to do. But do most people who commit suicide are those people who were given a shot? Were they given a chance? We live in a country where we're being poisoned by the water, the air, by land, by sea, by air, and it ain't the British, ain't the king. Or is it? We're being poisoned all ways. We're being poisoned socially, artificial scarcity. They're legislating people's ability to even survive, over-regulating people, not corporations, because the corporations get the welfare. The people get the mental illness. So if you got a lot of people who are committing suicide who wouldn't normally, you gotta kind of flock in to help them. So when it comes to that topic, gun control, which to me is not a topic, you have to prevent people or help people who would not normally have committed suicide from doing it, right? Because there are a lot of mentally ill people that just need help. Violence control. They say gun control because they don't want to stop the violence, because they're violent people. Not the people who cheer gun control, let's be clear, not the people. The people who cheer gun control, they just still believe in leaders. They still believe in being led around by violent people. So they get them to yell and scream for gun control and ignore the violence. They call it violence control. 99.999% of everybody will agree. We do not want violence in our world. We're trying to move forward. But we won't take control of that conversation. So I agree from a suicidal perspective. And that leads me into that whole topic. Is your government suicidal? Are they psychopathic? Look at the warning signs. Warning signs. What was this young lady's name with Al Green? Yes, that's a pot of hot grits behind him. Al Green got the hot grits thrown on him because he's probably supposed to. I mean, what superstars out there cheating on their girlfriends? You know, but the whole story most people don't know. She not only hit him with the hot grits in the bathtub, and not only was she his girlfriend, she had signs of mental illness early. She shot one of her other boyfriends in the foot. She did something to somebody else, and none of her friends were surprised when she threw hot grits on him. If she had a gun, she probably shot him. Well, she probably already had a gun. I don't know, did they take her gun? I don't know the whole story there. But we see these mentally ill people. We see people who need help from us, and we don't help them. Bad things happen, and we say, oh, wow, that's surprising. She threw hot grits in his face, but she shot her previous boyfriend for cheating and did something to another one. Took a bunch of poison pills from her, second marriage? But a lot of people don't know after she hit him with hot grits, she went and killed herself. She killed herself right after that. They don't tell that part of the story. Why? I guess he's an entertainer. People like Hollywood. They like to focus on that. They don't like to focus on the real story. We got a mental illness problem. And mental illness brings about conditions in the brain that make violence an option. Same with your government. Same with your government. They saw her coming. They knew she had problems. We didn't help her. So eventually she hit Al Green with hot grits and killed herself. Her husband was really upset. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, she was married. Yeah, she was married. She had a kid too. And Al actually didn't know. Well, he says he didn't know. I don't know if I believe that, but he sent them flowers. Mental illness, violence control. Should we have a gun control act or a worldwide violence control act? Should we actually deal with the root cause of violence, or keep playing around with this dumb talk about, oh, well, this government can't have this type of nuke, and that government can't have that type of tank, or this government can't have that type of airplane, or poor people can't have this type of gun? We avoid the actual problem, and that way you solve nothing. Violence control. Deal with what causes the violence, the artificial scarcity, the legislative poisoning of your people, because corporations like big money. violence control. So gun control is not even a topic for me. It's not even a topic. I don't really care your points on it. It's stupid. It's dumb. Most people agree on violence, and they agree on ending violence. But they sent you after the guns because they know it would divide you up. They know that you wouldn't unify around this topic worldwide where we all could say violence, popular violence, needs to come to an end. See, the government, usually the government's behind gun control. They don't want to stop murdering people. They don't want to stop killing people. They don't want to stop robbing and stealing from other nations. They don't want to stop poisoning the people. They don't want to actually have discussions around mental illness because they don't want the violence to stop. When you are fearful of your neighbor, when you're fearful of mass shootings, it means you'll turn against your neighbor. You turn against your brother. You turn against people you love and know your whole life. And that makes you vulnerable. It makes you easier to control. But if you actually have a real topic about psychopathy, the warrior gene, where violence comes from, then we know it's resolvable. We know it's fixable. I found a great old talk that I can actually show by brother Dr. James Fallon on the news. I can show this one because it's on the news. I can't show the other ones, and I will not show the TED Talk.
I mean, this is amazing.
I don't believe in TED Talk. TED Talk is criminal. And the other thing, speaking of criminal though, by the way, and I gotta apologize ahead of time.
This is amazing.
Hold on, I gotta apologize. Let me apologize. Oh God, do I gotta apologize? Heavenly truthful fathers and mother, whatever, soul, something, whatever you are. I don't know what you are. Nobody really knows, but they like pretending it. I'd like to apologize first because I'm going to show a video by CNN, and I just really don't want to do that. I don't want to show a video by a pro-war violent organization making all of my family and friends literal nut jobs on one side and Fox News on the other side. But this isn't Fox's time. So just give me this blessing this one time. I know I'm praying. Y'all, shh, be quiet. Give me this praying one time to post a video, and hopefully they don't make too much money from this, but I need my friends to follow this train of thought that I'm trying to go on, trying to solve and resolve a problem. All right, here we go. I said I'd never show a video about a lying mainstream media ever again in my life, but I don't have a choice. This is just the world we live in. We got patents and copyrights, and I don't think none of that shit exists, but this is just where we are. And this is why it's hard to solve problems if you got patents and copyrights. Speaking of patents and copyrights, I'd love to talk about levitation today, but I can't. This is more important. Damn it. Can I say it real quick? I'm gonna say it real quick. Listen, the smartest people, I'll say real quick, the smartest people ever on this planet, Nikola Tesla, Einstein, all of them, they said gravity and levitation, the same exact thing, and time, they're all related. Point. If ever somebody makes a levitation device, it means that solving the time travel issue is just an equation. Which is why we shouldn't have copyrights, because they've already had levitation. They've been doing it since the 1940s, but that's kept from you because it's called free energy. And that's why Nikola Tesla's documents are completely redacted, because this whole government thing that's pro-violence, it's anti-gun, but it's pro-violence, they keep things from you. And that's how they do it with the petrol oil and the petrodollar and scarcity and fighting over war and fighting over oil. They keep the free energy devices from you. The American government has 5,000 patents that they're not releasing that are all related to free energy. And they've redacted Nikola to the Tesla documents. Okay, I'm done. That's another reason why violence exists. But that's the world scale geopolitical violence. They get you to agree with that because they know knowledge is power and they keep that knowledge from you, so they keep the violence rolling. Okay, let's get Al Green's face off of, who is this? This is one, y'all hate him. Don't y'all hate him? Anderson Cooper. Didn't y'all say he's CIA or something like that? I don't know. I really don't care. Great topic. Let me get Al's face. Al, hang on, move fro. Al, there we go. Woo. Al. That was from the Precious Lord album. Y'all ever listen to that? That takes me back to my church days. Precious Lord, take my hand. All right, let me see. Leave me on, let me stand. All right, here we go. Check this out. Dr. Fallon.
Looking at scans of murderers, of schizophrenics, normal brain scans, PET scans, and your own brain scan, and you discover that in your own brain, it is the same kind of a brain as a psychopath.
Yeah, that was like the worst case, because all those areas of the brain that I had decided, by looking at these, that were involved in, the psychopathic personality, I had all of them, and it was completely turned off. And it had to do with emotional regulation.
So you can actually see in a brain scan if somebody's a psychopath?
Not really. What you can see are changes that are consistent with traits. So I can look at different brain scans and say that person's got a language problem, that person's got a problem with their visual system or sense of space. So you can see traits.
And the
So that's
traits of
part
a psychopath.
Let's stop. You understand what he's saying so far, right? This is, if you've been following for a while, you know that they use the MRI to look at the brain to determine who has emotional regulation. I love that word. I love that word, emotional regulation. So people are emotionally regulated so that they can throw hot grits on Al Green. They're emotionally regulated so that if the atmosphere comes about, they'll go bomb Venezuela. People are emotionally regulated so they can shoot the husband or boyfriend if they cheat on them. People are emotionally regulated to not feel anything, that they can go cheer invading China or nuclear proliferation with Russia. Emotional regulation, turning off empathy, love, compassion, all the things that bring about mass shootings, which is why they talk about the guns. They don't want to talk about the heavy metals in the water. They don't want to talk about the chemtrails they spray or what is it called? Atmospheric injection. They don't want to talk about the pesticides in the food and the herbicides that they get big money from big corporations to sell to you that are altering you at the genetic level through epigenetics. They don't want to stop that because they take big money from that. But violent people, most of them, if not all of them, they're not actually violent people. It's atmosphere. Remember what Sadhguru said? There are no good and bad people. I'm applied to this. There are no peaceful and violent people. There's just atmosphere. If you create an atmosphere, people will oscillate more on the violent side. If you create the wrong the right atmosphere, people oscillate more on the peaceful side. Are you following me? Does that make any sense? Got any questions? I don't know. I'm trying to go quick. Let's keep going.
Path that are clear to you that you think you have are what?
Well, it's a very poor sense of morality, first of all. And like for me and for people who are psychopaths, they can have a sense of ethics, the rules of behavior. But actually the deep morality, what we consider morality, is not there.
So psychopath, I mean, do you have a sense of empathy?
I have a sense of what's called cognitive empathy.
So rationally you...
I understand when somebody is in pain.
Okay.
All right, hold on, Whoa, before he goes. He's talking about himself. Now, it's not about him, because he actually is a psychopath, and he's the doctor, but he didn't know. Most doctors are psychopaths, so it's not a big deal. We talked about the morality, right? They don't even have the morality. So you know how when you get upset and you're mad at somebody's upset at you, they did something to hurt you, you hate them, you're yelling and screaming. They don't even have the ability to have the morality. That section of their brain on the spectrum ain't even lighting up the way it's supposed to. You're hurt, you feel bad, but they felt absolutely nothing. They know you're hurt, but they can't feel the hurt. They can't empathize with the hurt because it's completely not there. The way he put it, it's like asking a blind person what light looks like. They can't even understand it. Meanwhile, you're hating them. You hate what they did, and so you're hating them instead of the fact that we have atmosphere that make people more prone to psychopathy because they don't have the morality, because they're emotionally regulated. Those emotions are turned off or down because we needed these people throughout life. We needed these three people throughout evolution. We needed warriors. We needed people who couldn't feel pain. We needed people who couldn't empathize with how it hurts you, or we would have went extinct.
But what I don't have so much of is emotional empathy. So I have what would be more like sympathy. I'm involved in a lot of charitable sorts of endeavors. I've always been, but actually connecting with somebody emotionally. It's tough to be close to me, to be married to me or be really close. It just is, because it's not there.
So what is there a hopeful aspect to all of this, that having identified this, you can change behavior? Or what's the takeaway for you?
Well, the first thing, the knowledge, I found out I was completely wrong about the science, which was a bitter pill to swallow, because I thought everything was driven by genetics, biology, and I didn't think nurture had anything to do with it. Once I realized, because of the genes I have, that if you're brought up in a very nurturing environment, you can offset the biology.
So you may have genes for this, you may have these areas of the brains which aren't developed and stuff, but because of the way you were brought up, the foundation that your family gave you, you don't act out on these behaviors.
And we just found out in the past 2 years, some of these genes that were kind of warrior genes that put you at risk if you're abused early on, if you're treated with love and you're not abandoned or anything like that, it has the opposite effect. It kind of washes all the negatives away. So you still have some traits, but you don't have the full-blown psychopathy. So I think I was saved by a nurturing environment and a really loving extended family. My mother saw something early on, which she finally told me last year that something wasn't right. And
Really?
Yeah.
She identified that early on.
Yeah, she told me, started telling me things.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was really a surprise because she says he never told anybody because I was heading in a dark direction. And, and I realized a lot of this.
Headed in a dark direction. So Dr. Fallon was one of these people that had more of the traits for these warrior-like characteristics, the ability to regulate emotions to get a job done. And he was loved by his little old sweet mama. And she saw it early and she pushed him in that direction. So now he is one of the most phenomenal world-renowned doctors when it comes to neuroscience and psychopathy. Or he could have been a serial killer. If he was born perhaps in a different family, if he were born in the barrio or the ghetto or the trailer park, he'd be the one in prison. Not studying people in prison, he'd be the one grabbing the guns, doing the mass shooting, because he doesn't have that feeling. He doesn't have that. He has the ability to do things others can't. He has tools to do things others can't. He can join a gang, but he didn't because he was given love. And that's why love is not hippie. Love is not hippie. Love is what your gods gave you. Love is what you were told to do. But tribalism, but popular apathy, indifference, but gun control. And this is why I'm saying it's not about the guns, has nothing to do. The gun is just a tool for the psychopath to solve a problem. The hot grits are just a tool for a psychopath to solve a problem. The knife is just a tool for a psychopath to solve the problem. The Pentagon is just a tool for a psychopath to solve a problem. Think about that. Think about that. That's why I'm saying it's about violence. That's why they don't talk about violence control, because they don't want to control their own violence. They want to keep their own violence going. They want to keep putting little kids in prison. They want to keep shooting kids in the street. They want to keep invading nations. They want to keep doing that. And they can do that because you talk about gun control, not actually violence control. So to me, it all fits together. It's profitable violence. Profitable violence. Being held up by people who claim that they're against gun control. You see what I'm saying? Is that processing? All right, let me do the rest of the interview. When was the interview? The interview was 2015. So this is an old interview from that perspective, 4 years ago. But let's not be confused. They've known this for years. They've known this for decades. They've known for decades young kids have an issue. One of the things that Dr. Fallon is known for saying is that doctors know when your kid's going to get scans. They do the MRI scans or CT scans and they get portions of the brain and they can see portions of the brains aren't lighting up how they should. And then the doctor asks that key question. Is your son or daughter, are they hurting animals? Do they have any empathy? Do you see them pulling the cat's tail or pulling the dog's tail? Because they know they already don't have that feeling. They don't have that light. They don't have that morality. They don't have the ability to see the things and feel the things that you do. So they have that additional ability to carry forward with a project. And they can become a doctor, a dentist, a neurologist, I don't want to say banker. I don't want to say financial person. I don't want to say politician. But they have the ability to solve problems easily. They could build homes. They could grow hemp. They could do all kind of wonderful things, amazing things for humanity. Or they can become a predator of humanity, right? Because the only difference is you just show them a little hate as a child. Just show them a little hate as a child. That we don't love poor white kids in the trailer park. That we don't love poor tan kids in Yemen. We don't love poor black and Hispanic kids in the barrio and the ghetto. That's all we got to do is show them that to solve problems in their world, they got to pick up a gun. And they'll pick it up. They'll pick up a gun, a pipe bomb, a knife, a tank, anything they can, the same way your psychopathic leaders in government are. So if we passed a worldwide law against violence, imagine if we had a worldwide initiative against violence, not gun control, not guns, not militaries, but violence. And from a suicidal perspective, you don't lose your gun, but we protect the world from you while you're psychotic. You don't lose your military, but we protect the world from you until you get your act together. So we do a brain scan on you. We find out that you don't have empathy, love, compassion. You don't have the ability for those things. Then you temporarily lose the hot grits. You temporarily lose the gun and the knife and the things that will allow you to hurt yourself or other people. We do a brain scan of your Congress. We do a brain scan of your prime ministers, brain scans of your presidents. We find out they don't have, not enough of them have that love, limited aggression, fear, compassion, empathy, love. They don't have the ability to have a military. So we pull back that military for a little while. We pull back the nukes. We take the button, take the nuclear football. Why? Because you don't have the ability to feel the morality of the results of your actions. You don't have the morality to feel the results of toppling Venezuela. You don't have the emotion to feel what happens to people in Honduras and why they'll walk north to get to America and get through the border wall. That was in the news too. I would go there. But they're building up the wall. They're putting up the unconstitutional wall now. And they're doing eminent domain to steal Texans' property. See now, this is how it always works. You cheer for one thing, you think you're gonna get that thing, and you never get that thing. Why? Because government is not on your side. They literally don't even work for you. You literally in America don't even have a government. In UK, Debbie come being pulled right along. You're being pulled right along by Rothschilds, Rockefellers, bankers, and everyone who runs America. America stopped existing in 1913, 1933. When they were bought out by the international billionaires and the United States became a corporation. So you don't even have a Constitution or Bill of Rights. This is why they don't care. This is why they make money on conflict. They make money on violence, and that's why they give you the gun control debate to get you to divide up on two sides instead of fixing the violence that comes out of the pharmaceutical industry, the violence that comes out of the gun industry, the violence that comes out of the prison industry, the violence that comes out of all the unconstitutional laws, the violence that comes out of the pharmaceutical industry, and taking the ability for people to deal with artificial scarcity. All right, let me finish
kind of
that.
happy talk that and very gregarious sort of stuff. I'm always on the make, not sexually or trying to get money, but I'm always trying to get people into my world, even if it's for 5 minutes.
I'm convinced, I find this whole topic of psychopaths really interesting because I'm convinced there's a lot more people out there who are psychopaths than we realize, and particularly successful people, accomplished people,
Hang on. Anderson is trying to tell you something. Anderson is trying to let you know something. Because Anderson is a CIA psychopath too. The only difference is he works for the CIA and CNN. He doesn't give two damns about the nations that get blown up and destroyed and the tens of thousands of women who get raped and the children taken into sex slavery because he works for CNN, who's a pro-war, pro-violence organization. He gets a nice car and a nice house, a retirement package, so he doesn't give two damns. He's CIA. CIA destroy every damn thing. By the way, that's the first thing you in Switzerland y'all need to worry about. You're giving up your assault weapons. The CIA is sniffing around. You're sniffing around your ankles. Why? Does Switzerland have oil? Y'all got oil? Y'all got coltan? Any coltan? Got slave labor? Got anything the CIA might want to give to corporations so they can fund their destruction of this planet? Speaking of psychopaths. But, and same thing with Anderson. That's why I'm not upset with the guy. The guy, he could have been a psychopathic holistic doctor. He could have been a psychopathic person fighting cancer. He could have been a psychopath like Nikola Tesla who just couldn't sleep trying to solve a problem, giving the planet free energy. Could have been. Or he could have been the psychopath like J.P. Morgan who stopped Nikola Tesla. But this is why I tell y'all that time travel is real. Traveling in time. Because it don't make no damn sense. Ask yourself this question. Does this make any damn sense that we are always on the border of freedom, but we never get it? We're always on the sniffing around the cusp of liberty, but it never ever happens. But they had levitation devices and the news controls your family and your friends and makes them real stupid. If they've already solved levitation, they've solved the time equation. They got time machines, they go back and forth and they alter the past to make sure that the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and 100 families that own all of that technology stay in power. And that's a little reach. It's a little stretch. But if the smartest men on this planet, from Einstein to Tesla to Edgar Casey, if all of them said that there is no difference between gravity, time, electromagnetic, gravitic ability, and all the whistleblowers in the United States are all saying your government has this stuff, that means they keep us in conflict. That's why they give you gun control as a debate.
People on TV, people in the political sphere. I'm convinced there are tons of psychopaths.
Oh yeah, and if you,
me too.
Anderson, if you look at, there was just a
Good when
study
it's
done, a scientific study of all our presidents, and all the biographers answered all these questions about them, and it was on a scale of psychopathy. And on the scale of psychopathy, in sort of the one part of psychopathy, not the criminality part, but the other part, which is a big part of psychopathy, the ones who scored very high were like Theodore Roosevelt, JFK, FDR, Bill Clinton, very high. The ones had no psychopathy at all in this were people like Jimmy Carter, Gerald Ford. And when you look at the association of those psychopathic traits with leadership, it's like we want these people, right? Because they do things that are, they take chances, they lie at the right time. You know, FDR was lying all the time, but he saved us, so it was okay. So if you look at people that we choose to be leaders, I think a lot of them have these traits, and they're part of leadership skills.
I also think what it takes to propel somebody into the public sphere, propel somebody to success, I mean, it's not, they are not normal impulses, I think. And I think a lot of them are psychopathically impulses.
Success to become a newscaster for the most violent news network on the planet. Yeah, you're right. They got more skills. They got more ability to propel into this word success, which we like to talk about. What is success? Oh, success is having $1 million in the bank. Success is having a great job working for a negative externality killing corporation, which they all are. Success is having more than your neighbors. Success is have your kids having food while the kids down the street are starving to death. That's success. The ability to propel into politics and not give a damn what happens to the left because you're trying to give things to the right. Not giving a damn about the right because you're giving things to the left. That's psychopathy to make you not give a damn. The apathetic energy and power that empowers everybody in politics, which is the art form of utilizing psychopathy and not giving a damn about one community while you pretend and promise things to another community. That's why I say politics needs to go extinct or the human race is done. Calamities always come. That's the thing about this one. Calamities and apocalypses always come. Asteroids always fall. Supervolcanoes always blow up. The flood water always rise. Climates always change. The poles always shift. The only difference is that's normal Earth activity. What's not normal Earth activity is a species that's supposed to be a steward of the planet, a species that has the technological ability to actually save each other, but they refuse to be stewards because they're psychopaths. They're in psychopathic politics and they think they're making changes and they're helping things and they're not. They're keeping things the same by continuing to roll a dice and play this game of Monopoly that's slowly, but going faster, destroying the planet that everything lives on. The only thing that's not normal, it's not the circulation of the planet around the sun and the asteroids and comets hitting the planet and the water's rising, the climate's changing, which is all normal. It might be sped up, but it's all normal. It always happens. It's extinction. Extinction, that's not normal. Not when you have a species with the technological ability to build an ark. The species with technological ability to build houses on stilts and grow food for each other and take care of each other instead of being psychopathic gun controllers murdering each other, keeping violence, popular violence, apathetic, indifferent violence, popular, because they want to blame the weapon. They want to blame the hot grits and not the violence that's in their leaders that got them on that gun control mark. Intellectual lazy, empathetically lazy, the ability to be lazy and lay in the bed and not get up and do your own research, to make your own solution and decisions and stand on your own, but standing with your group because you were born in a group. You were born into indoctrination and bigotry. All right.
If you have that grand vision, because psychopaths will have a grand vision, not all of them. Some are just lousy rats, but people have that grandiose narcissistic need, and they've got something to prove, and they've got something, they say, I'm going to save the world. That's part of it. Doesn't make you psychopathic, but it's one of the traits that fits into this puzzle of psychopathy.
It's really fascinating. Thank you so much for talking about it.
All right, done.
So, I mean, this is amazing. You're looking at scans.
So my decision there is what we need to do is we need to get people away from this gun control. We need to get people away from grit control and get them focused on the fact that we know that there are sick people who need help and we can save those people. Those people just don't have the love that they need. They don't have the rearing that they need. They were born into a society with a lot of adults that are, Jeannie said emotionally lazy. That are emotionally lazy. adults that don't give a damn. That's what I don't feel sorry really for anybody more than the next generation. They're being followed up. They're going to have to survive in a world where the adults keep survival of the fittest because they're just too lazy to give a damn. Go do some research, apply love that's in their heart, and make changes. Voters in the world. Voting ends the world. Why? Because it's just rolling the dice and it's keeping the game going. The game ends when you stop playing the game. As long as you got cards in your hand and you're trying to beat the other side side's going to try to get better cards in their hand to beat you. When you walk away and you drop it all, that's when we move forward. Wow, let the narcissist live. Lots of laughter. It's always been a problem. It always has been a problem, Daniel. That's why I love that word narcissist and sociopath. And I ain't going to complain. I'm not even going to pretend to y'all I know the difference. I swap and change them and flip them, smack it up, flip it, rub it down, throw them where I need them. And I let my friends in, who are in the industry fix it. But the point is, our indoctrination model gives us this popular psychopathy, popular narcissism, where we always got to be right. And what makes us right is we can get more people on our side than on their side. And that means we have to be right instead of sovereignty and just leaving people alone. We are narcissistic in our discussions, and the very word debate is a narcissistic, sociopathic one where I have to be right. You have to think like me. You have to have my genetics and my neuron makeup and my brain and my experiences and tell me that I'm right. I'm going to keep yelling until you tell me I'm right. I'm going to keep yelling. Daniel is all whittled throughout. It's all whittled. Have enough respect for people, let them make up their own mind. You just bring some facts to them and let them decide. So anyway, that's my stance. I think we need worldwide, we need an anti-violence movement. We need an what you got the zeitgeist movement. You got to tack it on. But you also got to stop people anytime they say these words like gun control, grit control. Useless, 100% useless. They're just given to you because they don't want the people who follow it to actually realize that they are the most violent people in the world. And all it is, it's always just a partial. Take guns from the weak and the poor and let the wealthy elite kings and lords keep the guns so we can keep rolling out slavery and oppression. All right. I have power over you. Narcissist, right, Lori? And that is a narcissistic trait. The way I understand it, it's people who want to have power over you, and that's what a political system actually is. And that's why they got to use guns and force and threats of violence and death to keep the system going, because people don't want the system. They're too scared to walk away. That's why I walk away. I'm a spiritual creature. I have no interest. I will not be voting. They can all go to hell. All of the violent people who are still cheering popular violence, not interested. And it's not even that they can go to hell. They were literally told they will be going to hell. I just have no interest in going with it. No, but you do have to leave me the F alone and my peaceful life. Jasmine, and you have that right. You have that right to tell everybody to leave you the F alone because it's your life. You're a sovereign creature. Nobody has the right to violate you in any way, shape, form, size, with any needles, penises, force, bullets, any of that. You're a sovereign creature, and that's what gun control is about. It's about them keeping control over you, them keeping control and the ability to put those things in you that don't belong in you, their ability to force you to do what you don't want to do. When we tell our kids don't cry, why are you sad? You have no reason to feel sad, mad, etc. So more people need to see a mirror till it's your own kid. But then it's your own mirror. And in a way, you're creating an emotionally healthy person. Yeah, crying is important. Crying is important. Sadness, like anger, are very important emotions. And you can do powerful things with those emotions. But the thing is, Jeannie, they can empathize, right? I think that's what you're saying. They can empathize if it's their kid crying. Can't empathize if that child is in Yemen. They're indoctrinated to not empathize if that kid is in Honduras. They're indoctrinated to not empathize if that kid is a poor white kid in a trailer park. They're indoctrinated to not empathize that that's a poor black kid in the ghetto. This is why love conquers all. It's why it's most important. Controller control. Yes, thank you, Patricia. We need controller control. We need to exit to force other people to be like you or think like you. That's what we need. Money gets respect and fake love, even in my family. I am the oldest, the poorest, and to my family, I'm uninteresting, unimportant, and very little value. I can accept this from strangers, but it's hard to accept this from my family. This is the microcosm of our society, children raised without love. Well, you know what? Who said that? Brother Anthony. I think the biggest problem there is a prophet is not sent to their own land, right? Like I see your posts and I see your comments and it's always deep as the ocean. And I can see that because I don't know you. I wasn't raised around you, right? They were raised around you. They knew you when you were picking boogers and writing them on the window, and they changed your diaper. And there's no way Anthony can know things we don't. Anthony doesn't have as much money as us, so obviously Anthony doesn't know as much as we do. And in reality, Anthony is probably the only empathy-enabled person, perhaps, in that family. Anthony is a prophet in that way. Anthony is a godsend in that way to that family. But success to them is money, right? They love it. They worship it. It's not that they're bad people. They're just indoctrinated people. And I got a lot of people in my family that way. There's a balance. There is a balance. You know, people say, well, money solves problems. Yeah, it does. So does a gun. And that's all money is, a gun. It is a representation of human labor. It is a tool that can be used for good. But 99.9999% of the time, money is rolled out to be used for evil. It's used for slave labor and debt. It's used to starve other people and make you feel good because you're not starving. You know, so we need money control. Absolutely. Oh, you just sent them all to hell. Oh, no, I didn't send them to hell, John. I ain't sent nobody. I'm not saying no. Listen, the scriptures say that if you are evil and you love evil, embrace evil, you're going to hell. But I think, John, there's something a little different. I think there are people who are made evil. There are people who are artificially given evil acts. Not made evil, but given evil acts. I think the people who starve them and the people who poison them, the people who put heavy metals in their brain, that's the real criminal. I think that's who's going to hell. I think the people who are victims of the system, I can't see that. I can't see any God I would love, any God of love would never do that. But the people who aren't psychopaths, the people who don't have that psychopathy-enabled tool set to have an apathetic view of other people, that's different. That's why I don't judge other people. I wasn't given the warrior genes that I know of. And if I do, I'm probably light on the spectrum. I might be a psychopath for love, might be. But the point of the matter is I understand that other people come from other places. And it's just my place to utilize where I am in this psychopathy spectrum to help people. Right? Once again, a psychopath can be used as a doctor, a dentist, a healer, an EMT, even military. Psychopath can be used in great many ways. I mean, think about the police psychopath. Think about the firefighter psychopaths, the ones who can run into a hailstorm of bullets to save someone who can run into a burning building with bodies and flesh melting and the walls dripping. I mean, you gotta be a psychopath to have those abilities. We just have a society that doesn't rear kids to be beneficial psychopaths. They raise them to be violent psychopaths. People chasing money will never find the happiness they're seeking. Yep, John, and if you look at it, most people I know who have money are not happy. N-O-T, which is why I left it. I gave up on it. Left corporate America because money doesn't make you happy. I saw those people's problems and I don't want those. I got enough probably psychopathic spectrum problems with love and empathy and hemp and plants and all of that. I don't want the problems with cocaine and meth and all the things that they're up to and their kids. I don't want those problems. I don't want those problems. The more money, more problems. The more money you have, the more people who are after you. The more power you have, the more people want that power because they want to use that power against other people like you. No, I don't want that. I'm like Jasmine, live in my own space. I don't tell nobody what to do. Don't tell me what to do. And that's the model for a government we need. Then again, violence is a violation. So in this Worldwide Violence Act initiative, it has to be violence, period. Not physical violence, all types of violence. Financial violence, banker violence, all the violations. The violations, like this whole dumb thing. Somebody asked me about somebody asked about Smollett the other day. Oh Lord have mercy. I didn't forget what happened with Smollett, so I was going back, looking it up, and I'm trying to link it up. But the whole Smollett thing, that was pretending that a violent act happened because they wanted to pass an anti-lynching law on the federal level. Who was that? Booger and Kamala. Why in the hell is anybody voting for these people in 2020? They tried to play you and lie to you in the media by taking this guy and get him to pay other people to beat him up and hang a noose around his neck so they can pass an anti-lynching law. You know how useless and just stupid that is? You realize lynching somebody is already a crime, but what they're trying to do is they want to stir up racial tensions, and it worked. You were stupid you were naive and gullible and fell in. And so now they're talking about lynchings from 10 years ago, and there was like one. And lynchings from like 60 years ago. Why? To piss you off, to get you upset, to fight with them, and piss off the other side to fight with you back. It's always about conflict and violence, and that's how power is. But people are gullible, and so they control us. They farm us because we let psychopaths do what they do best: control other people, violating your intellects. If you're numb to pain, you're also numb to joy. I don't know if that's true, Rebecca. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the warrior gene, so I don't know. I know there are genes for pain, and there are genes perhaps for joy. I don't know if they're synced up, but could be. I don't know. That's not my field. Facebook doing that shadow censorship once again. Yeah, Anthony, I noticed that. Start the video. And I was like, whoa, there's only like 7 people here. What the hell's going on? And then they eventually came later when people started to realize, oh, it's about the time. Where's that silly guy? I was watching Ty's video the other day, same thing, people aren't sure, because we're being shadow banned. That's how it works. That's how this world works, because people are still voting for it. As long as you vote for lies and patents and secrecy and afflicting your decisions on other poor people who are usually just raised to pick a side because they're fearful, because they're shown hate, then yeah, censorship is always going to be that thing. Tell your family to fudge off. No, Lori, don't do that. Don't tell him that. Don't tell Anthony that. Anthony, love your family more. That's what you do. Love them more. Show them who you are. That's all you can do. Same thing with Charlottesville when the guy ran that car, the Charger, over those kids. You don't hate them. That's dumb. Hate begets hate. Violence begets violence. You love them. When hate crimes happen, instead of passing hate legislation, you go to the towns that are rearing hate and you love on them. Guess what? Hate goes away. Violence ends. When you show people that all you got for them is love, the next generation, if not them, they exit that psychopathy. Show people. Don't tell people. Show people. That's a violation within itself. Violating somebody for violating you. Show them love. Love is the answer to everything. Doesn't matter the question. Love is always the answer. See. Being poor is awesome. It is, Stacy. It is and it ain't. It is. Being poor is awesome from a spiritual perspective because it ties you more into what really matters in life, what really is of value. Money masks that. Money's power. It's a representation of human labor, and I think it's a spiritual evil creature somehow. I don't know how money does that. You know, the less you have, the more love you have. That is just how it works. So I don't want money. I don't want power over people. Why would I want a slave plantation? Why would I want to look at my ATM statement and see how many slaves I own? No difference. No difference between that type of slavery and the slavery from 100 years ago or 5,000 years ago. That representation on that ATM statement is how many people you've raped, how many people that money's raped, how many towns have been destroyed, how much geopolitical destruction, how many nations you ripped apart. That's what it is, and people are proud of it. Makes you feel good. I got $10,000 worth of oppression in my account. I feel good about myself. I'm successful. Anthony, not so much. He just sits around and talks about loving people. So I guess it's a question of what do you want to be successful in? You know, but no, so I don't believe in gun control. I wrap it up. I don't believe in gun control at all. At all. Gun control is the dumbest thing on the planet. Gun control is as dumb as grit control. When you see this woman is having problems and you think she might have a husband, Al, you're not supposed to date her. You're supposed to try to help the family, send them money, send them love, try to figure out why she's so aggressive. When you got a government showing all the red flags and the signs that it's a psychopath and it's violent, it's genocide and starving people in blown up countries where children live, you stop voting for it. That's what you do. That's what you do. Violence control, not gun control. To me, it's called growing up. It's called not being intellectually lazy, not being empathetically lazy, not being indifferent and apathetic because you were raised to be farmed. To me, it's ignoring the leash around your neck, being dragged around like a little poodle by these Rothschilds and Rockefellers and the system starving people. I have no interest in grit control. I'm a good, loving person. Yes, Laura, you are indeed. I send y'all much unconditional love. And ain't that a word, Jeannie? Unconditional love. Without condition. Without conditions as to where you were born or the color of your skin or the religion and God you believe in. Unconditional love. The unconditional love that every religion was given, the one that most of them absolutely refused to go anywhere near because of power and money and politics. We can't save everyone. Well, Stacey, I don't think it's our job to save anyone. I don't think it's our job. I think it's our job just to build the atmosphere and people save themselves. That's it. When you build the atmosphere, then good reigns, peace reigns. When you build an atmosphere of conflict, conflict reigns. So I don't think it's our job to save anyone. I just think we do what's right and let other people save themselves. You know, like it's not my job to make Jasmine like me. She just wants to be left the F alone. The fudge, that's what she meant, fudge. She wants to be left the fudge alone so she can eat her fudge. That's her problem. She wants to eat fudge. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I know fudge is a carcinogen. Well, not the fudge, but the sugar. I know that, but it's not, I read that. I can tell her that. But then she's got to figure out on her own. That unconditional love to let other people figure it out. Not your business to inflict force on other people because you think you know better than them. Leave people alone. Loving people is leaving them alone. Unconditional love is giving them the truth, building an environment to let them see the truth and leave them alone. Not raising kids in hateful scarcity. Letting robots and automation provide the food for them, not being used for the flavor of food. Did you hear about that? That most AI is being utilized when it comes to the food industry, instead of growing food to make sure everybody has the food, it's being utilized to make the food taste better for the wealthy. So we let kids starve. You know, there's no difference instead of growing food using AI to bomb people, but instead of, it's important to feed people. What does profit do in these big corporations? It's more important that the food tastes better than people actually have the food. That's why I don't believe in corporations. They all need to go away. Every last one of them. Everybody needs to decide to run or chase their shadows. It's our job to support their authenticity. Yes, Jeannie, and that's what I love. That's what I love about this model. Whatever this God thing is and making this planet and all of this is all you have to do is apply your love and the chips fall where they may. Stop guiding the chips. Just say what's true and let the chips fall where they're supposed to, and it'll fall in an amazing place when we evolve to be something great. And you just reminded me of something I do actually want to show. Then I'll get out of here. When you leave people alone and let them become the most amazing, beautiful, powerful things they can actually be, beautiful and powerful things happen. When you don't build a society that's based in everyone living in a monoculture, fighting each other, financial violence to see who can get the most slave labor and put it in a bank account, we become amazing things. Look at this artist right here. This is what I got to show you. When you leave people alone, beautiful things happen. Check this out. Who you afro, Al? Damn it.
It's known as the middle of the world. And it's home to an artist unlike any other. That took less than 5 minutes. Cristobal Ortega is known as the fastest painter in the world.
Yo estaba contando, fue como 5 minutos. ¿Por qué tan rápido?
Bueno, son momentos, son instantes. Hay obras que demoro 2, 3 minutos, 5. Son el momento de inspiración, son energía, es el ambiente.
He was initially entirely self-taught.
Bueno, yo soy de un barrio, Coyacoto. En mi pueblo nunca existió materiales, ni colores, ni tampoco pinceles. Entonces mi vida artística...
Wait a minute. Self-taught? You mean to tell he didn't go to college? He didn't go to college? Yeah, y'all didn't teach him that in college? Wait a minute. He doesn't know math, science, and English. And when you leave people alone, let them become the beautiful, amazing things they are, because people have their own spiritual gifts. They make things that just astound us. That's what I'm saying. Labor is not your job. Job is not your job. If a person doesn't work, they doesn't eat. They don't eat. And and when the scripture said that, it didn't mean for big corporations killing the planet that you live on, all with the negative externalities. It meant that you have a gift. And if you leave kids alone, they can discover their gift. And their gift might not have any damn thing to do with your math, your science, your English, or any of that nonsense. Exit this monoculture. Look at this amazing man.
Que empezó desde muy niño utilizando la yema de los dedos, la palma de la mano, y la semilla de los árboles. Siempre viví en el campo mi niñez, entonces siempre escuchaba el sonido de las aves, escuchaba el sonido de la naturaleza. Eso me hace ser parte de la naturaleza.
You see the fact that he's not even using a brush? He's not even using a brush. And this is like the advancement that's possible in all industries if you don't break them. You don't rear them in indoctrination where you got to use a brush, you got to use this type of calculus, you got to use this, you got to use that. They go and they invent new things. They invent new ways. And this is where the paradigm shifts come from. This is what we're supposed to be doing. This is why kids are amazing creatures if you leave them alone.
Parte de la madre tierra, de la Pachamama, los sonidos de las aves, del cóndor, el sonido del agua, de los 4 elementos.
Look at how beautiful that is.
There is a ritual to his artistic process, and we had to ask what is in that bottle.
Aquí tiene hoja de coca. Hoja de coca, tiene punta, le llamamos.
So y'all not gonna like that, huh? I tell you the secrets. Well, one of the secrets, they left him the hell alone so he can come up with his own method. He had food and water in the house so he could develop that method. And so he wanted to put his coca leaves and marijuana leaves, and that gave him the spiritual ability. Is that Brother Daniel? You know, and that's a good example, not outside of the cannabis thing, but just a good example of imagine what the medical industry would become if they weren't broken and given only chemical synthetic drugs for solving the problem. Like imagine where we would live forever. People wouldn't even die. These biological bodies that are spiritual creatures wouldn't even die if we left the medical industry alone. These kids who were born who want to be doctors. They want to have this ability to heal, but we don't tell them that you got to heal with a paintbrush. You can heal any way you want. They can come up and go with different methods chemical drugs and synthetic drugs. That's just one way of doing it. We've totally murdered billions of people because we force every child to go down that route. That's what I'm saying. If you got automation and robots and we're a technologically advanced species and people don't have to be raised to work for Rothschilds and Rockefellers and Wall Street and markets and slave plantations, they become phenomenal things. Look at this man.
Y un poco de
Good example, Dan.
hoja de
Great
marihuana,
example.
coca y puntas. Es un componente para pedir permiso.
The creation of art, Ortega says, is sacred. As he painted, he did appear almost in a trance.
This moment de concentrate.
A concentrated moment.
It's spiritual. This moment the spiritual. And the colors, my spirit and the spirit to the earth and the spirit to the peoples, all the
All right, I can't show the whole thing.
This picture.
But freaking amazing.
Colors.
Cristobal
Freaking
Ortega's work has
phenomenal.
been exhibited in over...
But instead, I'll post the link. You can watch the whole thing because it's amazing. I want you to watch it. Instead, we're raising kids to throw hot grits on each other. This is the best we can do. Where the hell is Al at? Instead, we're raising kids to do this. We're raising kids to throw hot grits on each other and shoot each other in the foot and murder each other. All right. Does that make any sense to anybody? There actually was one other thing I did want to show. Here's one other thing, actually. I know I was ending and I totally pulled it back. Some people left. Well, you guys stick around to the end. A lot of y'all like to leave early. That's not my problem. It's not the hashtag, not my problem. There was one other thing. It was interesting just in terms of leave people alone, let them become the phenomenal things they're supposed to be. All right, the only way I'm gonna find if I go through the news real quick. I watch a whole bunch of news in the morning. Let me see. The only way to find it, I start at the top. Let me see. Dang it, Al, we Afro. Is Al keep I don't know, I like to say that. It's just me. Don't worry about me. Yeah, that's the Swiss. That's the gun control started this whole discussion on stop with the gun control. You need to come up with violence control, fix the environment, fix people. Who urges political factions to unite to combat Ebola outbreak in the DRC? And that's another one. This is why I'm not against vaccines. I'm against breaking the vaccine makers by making them always focus on the greed, the bottom line, and the side effects, taking away their ability to have patents so they can't actually do the things to stop the spread of Ebola because they don't focus on it. They focus on giving you all kind of drugs to make you sicker, so you'll buy more drugs because they're dependent on profit. So that was interesting. Let me see. Roger discusses the impact of U.S. Huawei ban. Yeah, so if you have a Huawei phone, Huawei. If you have a Huawei phone, you can keep it. But there's a pause, like 6 months pause or something. It's going to be the new phones that they aren't going to work. Why? Because they don't have the ability with the NSA to look and see what kind of draws you got and what color they are and where you're going and who mommy you're with. That's all. It's always about money. It has nothing to do with freedom or America and nationalism, anything else. It's just about controlling the human population. Egyptian, yeah, they blew some stuff up over in Egypt, trying to scare tourists away. Elizabeth Buck talks about the impact of Huawei ban. There were some good discussions explaining how it's all about money. Oh, Game of Thrones, yes. Speaking of psychopathy, raising the mother of dragons to use dragons, say the dragons in the military-industrial complex, to actually help people, or when bad things happen, burn everybody the hell up. She was reared to burn everybody the hell up. That's what she did. Matthew Lange talks about artificial intelligence being applied right to the cooking. That's what we talked about. Most art AI is being. Oh, that's what I wanted to go. I want to show you that. That's what I want to show you. Dang it, I clicked on the wrong screen right there. This is what I want to show you.
For more on artificial intelligence and innovations in food production, I'm joined by Matthew Lange.
Actually, I don't have time to show you, so I apologize. I was going to go to one statement in here. There are people who say truthful things about AI, and there are people who don't. And this is a man who's not saying anything truthful. So it kind of bothered me. I'll play it, and so you can watch it later. I always apply the link so you can watch it. I got to get going. I got plantation stuff to do. So what he basically said, he said that there'll still be jobs. He said, don't worry about it. We're still going to have jobs when automation comes, and you shouldn't be scared of that. he's lying. You should be. He's either lying or he's stupid. No, wrong word. He's either lying or he doesn't have the creative ability to look forward and forward thinking, right? He says that when the wheel was created, their new jobs get created, right? He said when the cart was made, and instead of just people who, I guess when they started using horses, new jobs got created. You need someone to drive it. When the carts and the drivers went away and the car came, they needed cab drivers, right? Like new industries come, new jobs come. No. AI is not that. Learning software is not that. It's not a wheel. It's not a cart. It's not a new technology, okay? AI and learning software is called a paradigm shift. Never in society that we know of have we ever had anything that can do everything everybody does. So any new jobs that AI creates, AI is going to do too. It's called a problem to solve. And as long as it can learn, it can solve it. So AI is not like a microwave oven. AI is not like a cart. AI is not like a piece of technology. It is a concept. It is a principle. It replaces human labor, which means you don't put humans in to drive the cabs and replace the tires. Not long term. If you have learning software, it can learn to do anything. It's got bigger, stronger mechanical arms. It's faster. It thinks faster. It will outdo everything you do, period. We are coming into a paradigm shift. So don't be calm about it. You need to be very methodically and smart about it. But the reason I said that, and I kind of want to show, but I'm running out of time, is because I don't want people to think that, because he's some sort of expert in IT. I've been in IT 20 years, and he doesn't seem to realize that. There's a difference in a visionary and a software engineer. Hang on.
Food critics.
I'm sorry, I missed the last part of what you said.
Sure. So with all this new AI and robots being added to the food industry, what does that mean for jobs when it comes to chefs, servers, restaurant owners, and food critics?
For jobs, well, there are bound to be more jobs. They may not be the same jobs, but they're definitely going to be more jobs. We often think that there won't be jobs when technology comes along because they're going to displace some workers. And we don't always know what those new workers are going to look like. When we displaced carriage drivers, with taxis didn't come along for a while till after the automobile was with us, but more jobs came, and I think that we can expect the same thing with technology and AI, but we don't always know what those look like. So there may be some upheaval, but I don't think that it's going to come as rapidly as folks think, because AI does essentially need to be trained.
And to that point,
it trains itself. So, and this is my point, is that it's a paradigm shift. But when you hear people like that, you think that they know what they're talking about because, they're an IT person. You always got to look at people and what do they have to gain? If you are high up in the industry and you work for these big corporations, you're going to say what the big corporations want you to say. You're going to say what helps your retirement, not other people. I'm telling you the truth. The truth is, AI doesn't give two damns about what you think is going to happen. It's going to do every job, and it can learn to do it itself. Learning software can do that. Learning software can do that on just a few people, just a few trainers, a few testers and programmers. You're replacing human labor, period. They even make the robots look like they're human. They even got opposable hands and thumbs, except for the thumbs, they're like they got two of them, and they can flip around and do this. They can do all of that. You can't do that, man. They can drive the cart with one hand and smack kids in the back while it's driving them on the bus to the indoctrination school. All right, now I'm really gonna wrap it up. All right, I did want to show that because that's bull. And you need to be empowered to what the bull is. I'm going to tell you the truth because I'm no longer in the industry and I'm not beholden to that nonsense. We need to stop violence. It's what AI is going to be used for. And that's why they want you to do gun control, because you're not going to think about robot control. You're not going to think about automation control. You're not going to think about violence control. Violence as a principle, violence as a concept has to go away. And that's what's behind the whole gun control movement. From top to bottom, it's keeping popular violence, keeping violence with the kings and the lords, keeping their militaries, keeping the violent concepts. while you attack poor people who happen to have a few guns. Solve the problem at the root. Stop being played for a fool. Marriages are taxis. They didn't do anything different. His analogy is stupid. Right, exactly. And it's not even close, John. It's not, but I think people are starting to realize that. They're starting to realize that the TV is lying. They're starting to realize the news is just entertainment, that they like to play these games. Everything is about power and money. If you got more power than money than most people who watch that television, you'll lie to them. And that's the only way you'll get on television. Andrew Yang is running for UBI because AI will replace thousands of jobs and already are. Well, you know what, Susan? I suspect that AI, the AIs they have now, even just the learning software they have now can do most people's jobs with the mechanics. AI can do everybody's job and new jobs. And the only reason I can think for the life of me that they're not rolling out this stuff is because they're not ready. They're not ready to scare people. If they actually start rolling out solutions and showing people the power that they actually have, you know, the electromagnetic devices and free energy and AI robots, and people would revolt. People would stand up and say, no, now we get it. What they need to do is they need to keep people fighting each other. They need to keep the gun controllers fighting the gun lovers, and keep the blacks and the whites and the poor and the wealthy and the Americans and the Chinese, keep everybody fighting until they're ready to go. You know, it's not that economic collapse economic collapse is coming, but it's being held up. It would, by design, the system was supposed to collapse. They can't have it collapse until they don't need human labor anymore, until they have enough AI robots and software in place, until they got 5G in place, where you can't say anything about it. That's what it is, where you can't say anything about when 5G is the police force and you're even scared to leave your house because you're going to have cancer because people in your neighborhood is acting up, they're revolting, or they're denying government, denying Rothschilds and Rockefellers because government doesn't actually exist. Then we'll roll it out. And I think that probably is the big push for 5G, whether it's for swarming robots or just to give everybody cancer if you don't behave, or give everybody cancer so they're weak enough they have to behave. You know, all of these things don't make any sense to me. And that's why I think that these people got time travel. None of it made. Some of the smartest people I know act dumb as a bag of bricks. It only makes sense that they figured out gravity. And once they figured out gravity, time was just an equation. They figured that out too. And they keep going back, messing up, but going back, and we revolt and we get free, and going back and we peacefully revolt and get free, and going back and causing more problems. That's the only thing that makes sense. I can't figure out why the smartest people I know are the dumbest people nowadays. Going back to vote for more violence. I've seen numerous posts from AI for multiple companies in the last few days. Yeah, Rebecca, they're trying to make it popular. They're trying to make ending the human race, not being stewards of the planet, popular. Well, I'm sorry, they're not trying to make it. It already is popular. They're trying to keep it unpopular. They're trying to make it sexy. That's why they got Common dancing on stage. Change your world. Really, what he should have said in that damn commercial is, give your world completely to the Rockefellers. Help us get rid of human labor. And a few of them will probably be left to entertain the few elites that are left on the planet. Stop violence or Antifa will Patricia says, stop violence or Antifa will bust you upside your head. Exactly. Thank you. Exactly. Some of y'all don't get that. Some of y'all do. All right, get out of here. I can't believe I'm watching old Burn supporters going back to that old fool again, shaking my damn head. Well, Daniel, people don't get it. They don't understand. They don't understand that the system requires violence. So they'll be lost in the whole Antifa thing right ahead, the hypocrisy thing. They'll go along with gun control, keeping popular violence a thing. Bernie Sanders, who took all that money from the military-industrial complex that murdered all of those people, 5 million people since 9/11, and they actually think magically he's changed his mind. It's not how the world works, baby. That is not how it works. My opinion, of course. No, Daniel, that's not your opinion. I take that away from you. That was empirically proven. He voted for war over and 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 over, and people died. Again, he voted for it, and people died. Again, he voted for it. Took money from Lockheed. People died again. Took money from Raytheon. People died again. And he hadn't changed. He hadn't changed in all of that voting. If you have not seen the Bernie Sanders voting for war video on YouTube. You need to watch it. They go through every piece of legislation, murder, kill, violence legislation he voted for while he wants to get guns off the street. Just tell you everything you need to know. Trump doesn't make Trump any better. Does not make Trump any better. He's in office, and what is he doing? He's a proponent of the violent police state, just like Obama was. He's a proponent of all the war, destruction, colonization, and looting of other people. The presidents are not the problem. But they can get a lot of people really emotional on Bernie and really emotional on Trump, so they don't actually solve anything. That's why they get people emotional on gun control, so they can keep popular violence, a model in governing and controlling the human population, rolling. Money, 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 money. Long as you make money, hot grits is hot. Hot grits are popular. Anyway, I gotta get going. Listen, y'all have a great day. Stay safe in violent world. Talk to more people, and thank you for sharing. Eventually, I think we'll figure it out. May not be this Kali Yuga, this Yuga, but eventually we're gonna figure it out. Gotta get going. Love y'all to death. This is Gerard. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.